This is Jeff Christmas, and I'm doing the 4, 5, and 6 of my lesson plan. My chosen lesson plan, the subject of it is mean, median, and mode for science aspects, and of course we also have the math aspect of it to learn some of the same things within two different subjects. Previously, we're going to put them into groups of about four, depending on the class size. Um, but that just really depends on how many we have in the class. And they're going to start out the class period in these groups. They'll be given 10 playing cards of various amounts. And of course, we can pull out the kings, queens, and jacks, and just deal with the numbers, or we can give those a numerical value. It doesn't really matter. But they're going to be given these cards, and we're going to take the actual value of the cards, and we're going to find the mean, median, and mode of those cards. And so we have them arrange them in the ways they need to. Do the calculations, look at them, and do all these things on these cards, and be able to do this as a group, and teaching it once, and you can always mess up the cards, and deal them out to them again, and have them do another set after we've modeled it, after we've shown them what they need to do, and then kind of do it together all over again. And I want to give them a worksheet so that as a group they can write down their findings, and be able to see it on paper, not just give an answer and it's gone. Many times I find that if I need to remember something, I write it down when I'm doing stuff, so that it kind of ingrains it into my memory. And so they'll do that as a group. They'll be able to do this a few times and discuss it, and try to help each other to understand what mean, median, and mode, how it entails. And so that worksheet will help them with that. Then we're going to break up, and that'll take up probably, I imagine, probably about 15, 20 minutes of the class time, because of teaching it and making sure they understand it, and then doing a couple times to practice. And then I want to break them up into their normal seats. And the students, once again, will be given playing cards of various value, and they'll find, again, the mean, median, mode, but on their own this time. And they can kind of take what they learned as a group, and try to get through those things and see if they can grasp it. And this isn't a real hard subject to grasp, but they need to understand it enough that they can do it on their own. And so they'll show their findings, and we'll discuss those answers, and we're going to say, okay, are they right? What should have been done here, and make it very constructive. Not, hey, you were wrong, but are they right, and where did we go wrong that we can correct this and help each other out. Then we're going to shift gears and make this more not just a math thing. Now that they kind of understand the concept, we're going to give them 10 sets of temperatures of any given town. And of course, I'm going to do this on the smart board, which is in our materials that's coming up. And they're going to find the mean, median, and mode of those temperatures by themselves. And so there's going to be some questions asked after we get done with this. We're going to put that up there. They're going to find it, and we'll call on somebody, and hey, do you have the answer? What do you got? And maybe have some raise of hands who agrees with that, or who doesn't. You got something different, and just really help them to find the right answer, and not feel like if you're wrong, that you're doomed. It's something we're going to make a very constructive time together. Why have I chosen this activity? The students will see that the mean, median, mode are used not only in scientific aspects, but it's also used in mathematical situations to find solutions to various problems. You're going to find this kind of stuff happening in your work. You're going to find it happening when you go to the store to try to buy things, and you got to find that middle price, or what's the average price. There's so many different applications to it that we can discuss, and say, hey, where can you use this, and we can go over that, and they will see that practical application, so that they can understand why they need to learn these things. The materials that we're going to need to use during this time of instruction, of course, we're going to have worksheets. We're going to have a couple of them done as a group, and then also in their normal seats. The group things just going to be kind, some will be copying off others and this and that, but I want them just to understand what the answer is. I want them to see how that process goes. And so when they go to their normal seats and we do this again, it's going to be a familiar thing because we're using the cards, and they can see that, hey, we did this before and this is how we did it, and they can kind of get that together. And these worksheets will actually have the process in which uh, they can have what they need to do on the group sheet, and then of course in their normal sheets we're going to go without those processes on there, so that they are using what they've learned. And of course, at the end of the time, I'm going to have an exit ticket ready for them to write down, and for them to tell me what the mean, median, mode is, and so that they can understand, that I can understand, they grasp it. And so I believe this can be done in a class period, that they can grasp it enough that they can walk away knowing, hey, I know what the mean, median, mode is. Um, Items to be used are going to be playing cards. It could be 2 or 3 decks. Again, it depends on the number of kids. Each group, give them 10 cards for the first group activity, cards of various value. And then the temperatures that I'm going to give is it's going to be anywhere town, or you can just give a town, doesn't matter where, real or fictional numbers, it doesn't matter. Will be up on the smart board that will be given to them. And so they'll be able to write those down and go to what they need to do. And so this is showing that, again, we have all that together to be able to show them what they need to know. Why have we chosen materials? These are all common items readily available that can be used in normal everyday life. I want them to understand that all this is used in normal life, not just in class, not just as a scientist or mathematician or as a teacher. It's used in everyday life, and those discussions will help us to convey that to them. Worksheets are going to be used to help the student retain what they have learned by writing the answers down. Again, that's a big way of how I learn, and may not be for everybody, but if it is something that they can help them learn, then by all means, we're going to try it. Evaluation. How and when do you evaluate students' learning on the content of this lessons? Students will demonstrate their knowledge of the mean, median, and mode by getting into groups and answering questions on an assessment sheet, the worksheet, of course. And then before class is done, an exit ticket will be required of each student demonstrating their mastery of the subject. Um, I really feel that they'll get it by the end of class. So when we have these discussions and get to those right answers, the concepts are not difficult, and so I feel that this is a very doable lesson for a day. And of course, review as we go through units and stuff will reinforce that. Why have you chosen this approach for evaluation? The first sheet will determine if students have grasped the elementary principles of the subject matter. The exit ticket will show if the student understands the concepts of mean, median, and mode and how to apply them. And I feel like this is very doable for these kids and to be able to understand and really grasp this concept.